Hey everybody, it's time for a checkup from the neck up. Here we go. So what is checkup from the neck up? Well, it means, do you have what it takes? Do you have the mental capability, the mental stamina, and the courage to try to get ahead in this world? The world's crazy. Right now, that's terrible lighting. There we go. The world's crazy right now. This pandemic is tearing apart the world. It's unbelievable. But the question is really, what can we do to maybe take advantage of it and get ahead? So come on with me, let's see if we can get ahead. Okay guys, welcome back to Get Ahead Financing. If you're new here, if you haven't been here before, and you like the content, make sure you please leave a like. Also subscribe if you can. We're trying to pick up as many people as possible during this crazy pandemic that we're currently living in right now. So I did my walk today. I'm actually wearing probably the same clothes you saw me in video 1. This is video 2. And I did my walk for about an hour, tried to come up with some sort of content to give you guys some value added information to make you get ahead and maybe give you some encouragement to get out there and try to get ahead. So today's big topic is essentially there's a big question at the end of this video that we're going to get to, and that big question is, can you pull the trigger? Do you want to get ahead? That's the big question here. So let's think about that during this whole video. So the topic for today's video is saving for that down payment. I think getting ahead right now means thinking about real estate. I'm a real estate agent, been in real estate now for 15 plus years. I've helped hundreds of families buy and sell houses. I've helped dozens of investors buy and sell multifamily and investment property. So I've been on the front lines trying to get you guys as much information as possible. So here I am trying to share that with you. So the biggest hurdle for a lot of people trying to buy is it realistic? Can you do it? A lot of people don't know what is the actual percentage of people who own houses in North America. In the US, I think it's 65%. In Canada, it's just a little bit above that, 66%. So now how many people own a rental property is very, very difficult to find that information. I had to go through tons of sites, hours of information to find out. One site had to go through the tax receipts of everyone who the IRA in the US claimed having a rental property, and it's 7.1%. And I'm assuming Canada's going to be roughly in that same ballpark. So in order for you to get ahead and get that rental property, think about it. If you have one rental property, you are getting ahead of 93% of the population, because only 7% of the population has a rental property. So imagine just having one rental property puts you ahead of 93% of the population. Pretty incredible. So let's try to get you that first rental property. The first big barrier in getting that rental property is a down payment. A lot of people have a hard time trying to save that down payment. Down payments are usually a minimum of 5%, but you can put as much money as you want down. Up to 20% is a good one, because then you don't have to pay any premiums or insurances on the mortgage after 20%. So a lot of people like to use the 20% minimum down payment to avoid paying that extra fee. But in my opinion, it doesn't matter. Just try to get into a property as soon as possible. So do the math on the down payment. What is 5%? What is 20% of a purchase property? Usually, simple math, a $100,000 home, you need $5,000 to buy the home, or $20,000 if you're going to use it as a investment property. Okay, now we need to talk about setting that down payment as a goal. This is what's very difficult for a lot of people to overcome and try to save up, especially in bigger markets like Toronto, New York, LA, Chicago. It's difficult to save up for a down payment while you're paying so much in rent. So you need to set this up as a serious goal. Normally, if you have a boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife, parents are a big help in trying to get people that down payment as well. So if you can lean on them to help you, all the power to you. Otherwise, use that down payment measure as a goal and try to reach it. Set that as a goal. The craziest thing is today on the way here, a buddy of mine was calling me and he was talking about his little spreadsheets. He is spreadsheet obsessed. So he worked out after all this COVID self-quarantining lifestyle we're living right now, he is going to probably, at all said and done, he owns his own business. He owns a couple rental properties. He's got a wife and a couple kids, as well as his own house. And through his spreadsheets and what the government's paying out for everybody right now, as far as essentially giving away a lot of free money, plus the unemployment, flexibility, the lack of deadlines for paying taxes and all that stuff, he's going to come out maybe $12,000 ahead in about 6 months. Now, how can that be? It's crazy. Going through his spreadsheets with him on my walk today, it was apparent that most of this guy's costs come through things like luxury items, like going out for dinners and spending money. They spend so much money that during this quarantining time and in the future quarantining time of, let's say 6 months from now, they could be ahead by $12,000 because they're not spending money on things they don't need. So during this time, this is a great topic to bring to you guys, is while you're quarantining, we're sitting at home, literally doing nothing, watching Netflix. What happens during this time that maybe you're being forced to do is save. Take advantage of it so that we can get you ahead in the next coming months to maybe purchase that property. Another good way to think about saving is put a tax on yourself. So this is what I did when I started saving for my first property or any property. Because I'm a real estate agent, I get paid in commissions, and commissions don't come in on a regular basis. So as commissions came into my office, I had a great accounting secretary here at my office who would take the money, put it into an account, and then from there pay me a small portion of it as a weekly paycheck. Not the whole amount of commission, just a small percentage of it. Just so you know, it was $650 a week, and then it was $700, and now it may be $800 a week. But the commissions that would come in would fill that account, and then each week I would take a draw and give myself my own paycheck. And I would learn to live in those parameters, live below your means if you can. So if you guys do this, if you have a 9-to-5 job, any job where you're getting paid any kind of money, set that up somehow where it either goes directly into another account, even better, it goes to a family member or friend who cares about you, who wants to see you win. So then that way you have a barrier of even trying to get that. That was the most important thing. So if I went to my accounting secretary, I was like, look, I want to buy this, purebred husky or a dirt bike or a big flat screen TV, all those items that you waste money on. I have to go through her, explain that to her so that she can cut me a check. That was important. It gave me pause to say, do I really need that item? So it ended up being a pretty good way of forced savings. Now, I didn't do it intentionally to save for a down payment. It just happened to be that way. It was a good way to run my business that way, to learn to live below my means, because I didn't know when commissions were going to come in. In an indirect way, I ended up slowly snowballing a substantial amount of money in my general account, as I call it. So I went there. The story of how I bought my first rental property is in my first video. I had to go to this accounting secretary and basically say, look, I might have to buy this guy's house. Do I have the 20% down to buy this property? And we opened my general account. Lo and behold, there's a little bit more than that 20%. So we were all excited that I could potentially buy this property if I had to. If you watched the first video, it turns out I did end up buying that first property, fixing it up, putting a great tenant in there, and that got me snowballing to now having 4 rentals and wanting to buy more. So, save if you can. Force yourself to give money to somebody else to save for you if you don't trust yourself. Do whatever you can. Start with just maybe a small percentage. 3, 4, 5% of your paycheck goes directly to a certain savings account. Maybe you have to go to the bank and sign out that money in order to get that money out. Put those barriers in front of you and force yourself to save. Okay, while you're saving, it might take some people longer than others, but there's, you just extrapolate that out by per paycheck or per month or per week. While that's happening, go look at some houses. Go look at some open houses. Go see what's happening in your area. You need to be well-versed at what homes are selling for, what homes are asking for, why homes are selling, and why homes aren't selling in your area. Every area is different. My area is different from your area. price ranges are going to range. Even in your area, there's going to be certain districts. So, for example, in my area, we have a highway that kind of cuts through the middle of my city, and then there's the north and south of that. My town, the north of that highway, is more valuable usually than south of that highway. You won't really know that unless you're looking into real estate. And then from there, school districts are very paramount reasons of buying property in certain areas. So pay attention to the school districts. The school districts are probably the number one reason why home values go up and down in different areas. So get out there, go see open houses, see what you like. Also, the big thing is know what you can do for houses. For example, if you buy your first house or you buy your first rental property, are there things that you can do to it and fix it up that you can do yourself versus having to pay an expert to do? Putting in carpet, putting in flooring, changing out some cabinets, cleaning up, drywall work, flooring work, any of that stuff that you can do yourself, you're going to save yourself a lot of money. So when you go through some open houses, take a pen and paper with you, write down some things like, you know what, I need to learn how to do flooring, because it looks like 8 out of the 10 houses in my price range that maybe I'm thinking about buying need flooring. So start watching YouTube videos on how to do some flooring. It could be simple stuff, putting in your own hardwoods, putting in some tiling. It's very rewarding. Or also know what it's going to cost someone to put in those floors for you. The biggest returns value that I find, anything you do in the kitchens and bathrooms usually give you 100% of the value back or more if they're done tastefully. If you do other items like we call them big ticket items, so roof, windows, furnace, air, those kind of things, nobody really wants to pay for those when they're buying a house, but they do want to see them there. So usually when you put in those items, they give you 60 to 80% of the value of what they cost to put in, unless you can start doing some of that stuff yourself. So if you're a kitchen person, do you know a plumber, do you know an electrician, all those things, that's where you start to collectively build your team that are going to help you save some of that money. While you're shopping around for houses, pretending to buy a house, I want you to stay motivated. It's the hardest thing in the world to stay motivated. But what helps you get motivated is if you are pretend shopping and you see a good opportunity and it passes you by, just the motivation is right there. When you see an opportunity pass you by, that means another opportunity is coming. So make sure that you are ready when the next opportunity comes. And that motivation is super powerful. You're always going to see a house and think, man, that was a good deal. But another good deal is on its way. In this crazy COVID-19 crisis pandemic that we're having right now, I feel like there's going to be a lot of opportunities happening across the world, but definitely North America, Canada, and the US, where people are either desperate to get out or have been hit on hard times. And if you are preparing yourself right now to take advantage of that future opportunity, you're getting ahead. So good for you. Okay, another big factor in buying your first house and or first rental property is you have to have a credit score. What is a credit score? Basically is a report card that tells all the banks who are going to lend you money, is this guy or is this couple going to pay me this money back? How good are they at paying money back? So you build up a credit score. When you buy things on credit, whether it's credit cards, student loans, car payments, that kind of thing, every time you pay them back your money on time, you build up your credit score. Every time you miss payments or don't pay them back, you lower your credit score. And here's the third caveat. If you don't have any debts, if you've never had student loans or didn't have a car payment or anything, then you don't have a credit card, you don't have a credit score, you need to build your credit up. So a lot of people, first-time home buyers especially, don't come out with a credit score. So you have to go get a credit card and put some debt on it. Could be, phone bill or something like that, and then pay it off right away. And then through that process, you're going to build up your credit score. And banks love looking at your credit scores because they're going to look at it and go, this person, when he gets money from a bank, he pays it back. Or when she gets money from this loan, she pays it back faster than we give it to her. So she's a good investment. She's a good bet to give our money to her. So be a good person, pay back your debts, build up your credit score if you don't have one. And if you have one that's damaged, work at building it back up. So when you are ready to save up for that down payment, you have a good credit score. Also, a nice little activity while you are shopping around, pretend shopping around, is can you see yourself living in this house? Now, what I mean by that is, can you see yourself living in the whole house? Like, do you need the whole house? Do you need maybe half the house? Can you live in the basement while someone else rents upstairs? Or can you live upstairs while someone else rents out your basement? Or can you rent out a room? Are you okay with any of those things? Ask yourself that process. Everyone's going to be different. Everyone's life's different. I get it. The reason for buying or selling is always different, and every individual has their own right to that. But while you're shopping, ask yourself those questions. If you can take your first property and turn it into a cash flow opportunity right away, you're getting ahead faster than anyone else is. If you need 75% of the house and you can maybe rent out the basement bedroom to a student, well, that's getting ahead too. So think of those processes, or think of those options going forward when you're looking at houses. Can this basement be converted into a nice little apartment for a student? Or is this house can be divided into, maybe it's a 3-level home, maybe it's a 2-story townhouse, maybe it's already set up as a duplex where you can live in one half and someone else can live in the other half and still pay for their own utilities. So while you're shopping around, make sure you look for those opportunities. Do you need to live in the whole house, or can you afford to live in half the house while someone else takes on the other half, or something like that? So think of that when you're shopping around for houses. Okay, so here's the big question. Again, I told you at the beginning is you gotta ask yourself, are you ready to do this? So if you've done the steps so far, which is save for your down payment, practice looking around the areas, know the area, be knowledgeable in your area, ask yourself whether you can live in half the house or rent out a bedroom or something like that. If you've done all those things and you now have the money to put down a down payment, the big question, are you ready to do it? It's the craziest thing. I've been doing this now 15 years. Every single time I ask somebody, are you ready to buy this house? They don't freeze up, but there is a long pause when someone is like, because it's a big ticket item. You don't buy a house every day. I do help people buy houses every day, as many days as I can. So I do see this reaction a lot, and it's kind of funny, but it is true that people have pause. People get scared. People get cold feet. People think I'm not worthy, or I don't know what to do. I don't know what I don't know is usually the biggest thing. So when you're shopping around, always in the back of your mind, be thinking, am I ready to do this? Can I do this? You don't know what the future holds, but at the end of the day, can you do this? Keep asking yourself, and you can. I've seen people, I don't know, people think that getting ahead, you have to be super smart. It's not the complete opposite. You do have to have some smarts, but at the end of the day, it's courage. And it's the person who's willing to get up to bat and take a swing at the plate while other people are waiting to get up to bat. So practice finding those opportunities, save your down payment, ask yourself what you can fix up in the house, what you can't fix up, what you need to pay for. Could you live in half the house? Could you rent out some rooms? And at the end of the day, when the time is ready, all the things line up, are you ready to pull the trigger? And that's, at the end of the day, the biggest question that you need to ask yourself. Do you want to get ahead? And if you do want to get ahead, you're going to stand up and take a swing at the plate. And you take one swing and you connect and you hit a home run, you're going to want to do it again. So guys, I implore you to get out there as fast as you can. Look at some properties. Start saving if you haven't already. Maybe take on a second job if you want to speed up that savings. And we'll see you when you guys get your first house. So take care. I hope this video has helped you. If it has, please, again, give it a like. And we'll try giving you guys some more valuable tips later on. Take care, guys. Bye for now.